software mani-pedi, then recalculating the landing vectors by hand. I translate, but you'd only understand if you hadn't gotten a 4 on AP Calc.
Did I get a 4 or did I tell you I got a 4 to make you feel?
Don't come for me. I'll hack your test scores.
And I post your 8th grade school photo. Ooh, remember when you tried the one brow look?
Oh, okay. You cannot let Isaac see that. I have a reputation to protect.
Oh.
Hold it! What the hell is that shit?
Well, here we go again. The CW, they just not understanding, making so many mistakes, in what they are doing. They do not realize that basically they're not making money. They're on the selling block. The CEO of the company, of CW itself, just doesn't realize that the garbage that he's putting out, people just don't want to see. All you gotta see is look at the new previews of the stuff, the Winchester series. Nobody's gonna really watch that series. The Walker Texas Ranger prequel series, which is, I just saw the trailer the other day and I said, oh my God, this is so horrible. But yet, this is what they want to put out. These are the decisions they make via the production, the decisions they make on the scripts, the decision on making on the hiring of the actors. They just don't understand how to make a product anymore. This is the problem in Hollywood. They've just literally lost the ability to write stories. And here's another TV series that it's, just started, and it's about 3 weeks in, 3 episodes in, and it's already crashed. It's literally hit the bottom. And I think this hit faster than the last couple of series that's out. If you're not familiar with Tom Swift is a very old novel series dating back to 1910. If you're not familiar with that, written by Victor Appleton. This series has been plagued with many issues throughout the decades that it's been attempted to be put on the screen. It's had radio shows, TV shows that they've tried to launch, movies. They've tried to do this various times. The novel series has been going on. I think the last one, the 6th series, 2019 was the last series that they wrote on here. And then there's been canceled films, TV series, and now, this is going to be another one that is going to be in the gutter. And I'll tell you, this is just a lot of very poor decisions. And, and the reason for it is that basically, they're trying to check the boxes that they can, and, all the politics, the activism. This is what they do. They take a series that's a classic like this and just tear it apart. They're going to tell people that says, well, the original novel was racist and we're going to make it better. That's their decision. We're making it for the clip, the modern era, made for the modern era. This is what they keep telling themselves. They don't know, and they keep ripping these apart. I mean, we got another story coming up with the Pinocchio movie that's coming out, not the Disney one. There's a secondary one that's coming out by Guillermo del Toro that Guillermo is going pretty much by the original text novel of Pinocchio. And if you're familiar with the original text of the movie of the Pinocchio story, it doesn't end very nice for Pinocchio. Basically, Jiminy Cricket gets killed. And Pinocchio gets his feet burnt off and hung on a tree. I mean, that's really, and you say, oh my God, that's horrible. The Disney one was better and all that. And well, that's not, and these are the changes that are made. Disney made changes and made it more family friendly. Whether you agree or disagree on there, but this is the things that has happened, and and you can say this has happened many years, that people have taken stories and just re-edit it. They're thinking they said, well, we can make it better. And this is one of the big things one of the big pet peeves I have with the Dune movies. That basically this is not Frank Herbert's Dune, including the last one. No matter, say, well, it's a fantastic movie, it's glorious, look at the soundtrack and stuff like that. But nonetheless, it's not Frank Herbert's Dune. It's the same thing, and I keep saying this, Isaac Asimov, 60 words you're going to be remembered for. And that's the truth. That is the total truth of the situation. They're only going to remember you for the main storyline, and you see that with the Lord of the Rings TV series as well. But getting back to Tom Swift, the ratings are just atrocious. I mean, this show's been battered, and from a lot of the people that have talked about this, I mean, you go over the Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, there's not even anyone from the mainstream media reviewing it. From the audience score, it's scoring a 25% on there. I mean, some of the things the audience has to say, this crap is boring, a mix of Iron Man and Dynasty, could only watch one episode, stupid stories and graphics, wouldn't recommend. No relations to the Tom Swift series I grew up, see what I mean, with a pickup of another name. Good actors, but the pacing and writing is hard to slog through. Giving up. There were way better options. Can you please focus on the writing decent scripts? If you change a character, at least make it believable. And someone put it, they loved it from the start, and all the elements Naomi was missing. And I think they might have been joking on that one. Deeply disappointed with Tian Richards. He's such a mellow genius billionaire. The whole gay angle seems forced. See, there you go. Checking boxes. I was expecting a lot more from them. Overacting, poorly written. Tom Swift, genius inventor, wielding the wrong type of eye protection, no shirt. This is some of the things that you'll get, some of the reviews you'll get. Now, getting to the ratings, here we go. Episode 1, you had a 0.440, which is about the average of every other CW show on the network. But what happens on week 2? Week 2, still the same demo at 0.06. 0.344, you had a massive drop there. Just a demo change of about 21% on there. Then you get to week 3. Here's you are pretty much done, and this is at this point, the old days, networks would shut you down at this point. They won't even air the rest of the shows. 0.292, another loss of 15%. Demo change of almost 17% in a demo change on there. And that's coming down to a 0.05. Nobody is watching this show. Anything from a 0.01 to a 0.05 is pretty much a pity score in the business. What they used to be, they would call a pity score. Because basically, most networks will look at this and go, this show is done. Let's not put any more advertisement dollars into it. The advertisers will be upset. And that's the truth. Advertisers need to speak up heavily on a lot of these shows. If I'm trying to sell a product on the network for the first time out and nobody is watching the show, my product is not getting sold. It's not really getting sold. It's not connecting with the viewers. The viewers are not seeing the product that I'm trying to put out. And, a lot of people figure, well, people will see it on the shelf or on Amazon or something like that. But see, the thing is, advertisers pay big money to advertise on shows. That's why you see the big dollars when you see the Super Bowl and the World Series. Anything that's really big, that gets gigantic ratings, and companies spend millions on there. How much do you think they're spending for TV shows? They're spending a lot for TV shows as well. This is why you have companies like Tubi TV, Crackle, and a couple of others that are paying companies to help them with ad support. And what we mean by that is that they're able to connect with the advertisers together as one, so they'll be able to connect them to shows that would properly show off, where people will be able to see what product these advertised businesses are trying to sell to the consumers. You know, you got to remember, you got to go back to the Saturday morning cartoons. Why were cereals, toy companies doing so well back during the Saturday morning cartoons? Because they sold it correctly at the point where the viewership was intense. You know, there were kids up. They go, Mom, I want that Reese's Peanut Butter Cup cereal, or I want that Star Wars toy. This is the stuff that got sold. This is how you advertise. You advertise on shows that work, and people will see it, and they'll want the products that are behind it. And you might say, so, well, that's a bad thing. I said, well, that's how you're going to sell. If you're not going to sit there and just put it in the store and people don't know what it is. You have to introduce the product. That's what advertisement is. Advertising is advertising the product, showing the wares. And, when you have TV shows like this, which the CW puts out, and I'm talking to you, David Zaslav, you must get rid of it. Chuck this network. If you don't want this network, David, get rid of it now. If not, rip it apart and rebuild it. There are ways of getting around and getting better programming on here. Let's go back to those days of the 1990s. The 1990s had some great shows. You can go back to the 80s, but the 90s, you took real big chances. And the same thing in the 70s. 70s, they took chances as well, because things started to change. You had the pre-code era, and then you had the Hays Code, and that did affect television. When television came in, the Hays Code did affect it somewhat, because you had agencies trying to, this is what you're able to do, and if you watch an episode of I Love Lucy, a married couple, Ricky Ricardo and Lucy, they slept in separate beds. But then when you get to the Brady Bunch, Mike and Carol slept in the same bed. You see the changes that were made, the things that the studios took chances on. We need to get back to this, and there are those out there doing it. They're doing it on YouTube. They're doing it, out there. Daily Wire has their own studios now, and there are other companies. A lot of the independent studios are moving eastward. Ones that are already here are ramping forward. Lionsgate's building a big studio in New Jersey. Why? Because they're seeing where the money is going to, and if Lionsgate is able to ink deals the way they're doing, and we got a story on it, a big story on Lionsgate coming up, other studios, other small ones can build up. That's where CuteCast TV, we're trying to build up the same way, independent programming, away from the corporate giants, away from the giant Hollywood studios, because they have lost their way. So how long before CW cancels the show? They're gonna run it to the 10-episode run. I'll be surprised, that they'll get to the 10th episode. If they get canceled in the next episode or two, David Zaslav, better for that. Get rid of it, but they need stuff to put into there. Start rerunning some of the old shows that have a good production, the good stories. Hell, run the first couple seasons of Supernatural. Do that. Run the first 2 seasons of Arrow. Get people out of it. And don't get me started on the way Flash is going now. So subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in.